Don't touch that dial.
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy.
I guess another additional bonus tip I would put on there is something that I've had to learn is you can't take everything everybody says to heart, because not everybody is going to like everything you do. And I've found that when I started singing, I had people that were like, bro, why are you singing? Just keep rapping. And then I had other people like, bro, why are you rapping? Just keep singing. You know, you're never going to please everybody. But as long as you are following what's true to whatever your soul, whatever speaks to your soul, whatever you feel like is, this is what I want to do, and it makes you happy, and you're not hurting anybody, and you just feel great creating, then keep doing that. And don't worry about what this one person says. You got to understand that not everybody likes everything. And you may make one song one day that one person would like, and you may make another song another day, and this one person didn't like that song but likes this one, and this one person liked that song but doesn't like this one. It's just going to happen. My name is Zhou. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, rapper, engineer, just kind of all-around music artist, anything that has to do with music.
Now, girl, you told me you were ready to take that leap, but when we went to jump, I looked and saw that it was only me. Let me fall into an endless sea.
So I got out of the military in 2017 to do music specifically, and then I moved out to Vegas, and I've been doing that since. So as far as traveling goes, performing, when I was in the military, I got to do a cool thing for one of my years when I was in, where I got to tour for them as a singer. And that was actually my real test to myself to see if it got old. And I got to do that internationally. I got to go all over pretty much all the states, every state except Hawaii, and then, you know, overseas in Asia and Europe and that kind of stuff. And I wasn't even singing my music, and it wasn't old to me. I feel like if you're a performer, you love performing in general. Like, as soon as you break curtain, it's just, there's a certain rush you get from just entertaining people. As far as favorite place to perform, if it's gonna be stateside, it was probably a show we did called Frontier Days in Cheyenne, Wyoming, I believe it was. And it was literally, we set up, because we have to set up everything, and it was on these 3 flatbed tractor trailers that they parked next to each other in the middle of a rodeo, and we performed for 60,000 people in the stands at the rodeo, and that was just like kind of mind-blowing to see that many people. I think to this day, that's the most people that I've ever performed for.
I remember when I lost my mind. Well, there was something so pleasant about that place, yeah. Even your emotions had an echo in so much space, yeah.
So as far as the feedback from my family goes, it probably wasn't the best, just given my like biological father got out of the military to do music, so the stigma associated with it was kind of huge. So my mom probably wasn't the most excited that I left, you know, the job I had in the military, but she was single mom. It was just me and her growing up, so she definitely championed security over kind of going after dreams and stuff. But it's one of those things where she still supports me, and like, you know, she's proud of what I do, and she'll tell me all the time that it's like, she's like, you're going down a path I wouldn't have chosen, but I also don't have the willpower and the drive you have. So that's kind of the closest thing to a compliment or a supportive go get 'em with regards to the music from her I'll probably get. So as far as did I ever have a moment of giving up or feeling like I wanted to give up, that was pretty much the first 2 years after I got out the military. I was like, I made a huge mistake. I walked away from a really good job, and yeah, it was just really bad. I was in probably the worst depression of my life for those 2 years. And honestly, I hit this rock bottom, and at the bottom, I just thought about why I felt that way and came to the realization that I was depressed because I wasn't where I wanted to be with music, but then I wasn't putting the work in for music. I was so focused on other things like trying to help family business and just distracted by so many millions of other things. And that kind of was the light switch for me that I immediately just started pursuing music and getting out in the community and going to events and networking. And it was like polar opposite.
Say, I don't understand you, girl. Why do you keep running back to him? All it does is just tear you down, and you bring me the pieces to fill.
I feel like as far as the one memorable performance, that's a tough one because there's so many different memories from different places that were so dope. Like the exact opposite of the Frontier Days one was one we did in Clear, Alaska for an air station that's way in the middle of nowhere, and there was literally more people on stage than were in the crowd. It was like one of the most intimate things we'd ever done, and it's like a big flashy show for such a small thing. And then we did really cool stuff in Japan, where we just marched down. They were having their like lantern festival going on, and we just grabbed some of our instruments and just kind of were in civilian clothes and just marched down and sang and got the whole street following us and kind of did like a little parade thing. So I feel like there's different memories from different places. There was no like, because the show is the same every night, it's whatever it was, I think an hour and 30 or an hour 45, and it's just go, go, go. There's not much time for things to happen unless things go wrong. You definitely remember the shows that go wrong. I think we were somewhere in California when the power cut, and we just kept performing lights out, a cappella. You could hear them banging on the V drums in the background. We were trying to keep beat to that until the power kicked back on. But yeah, nothing super standout. It's more the places I think that I remember. So as far as the difference between performing on military stages and Vegas crowds, it's definitely night and day. One, I'm doing my own music, unless I'm singing a cover. But even if I'm singing a cover, I get to do it my way. Whereas a lot of times for the show, to get as many songs as we could in there, we would do them at faster tempos. So we're doing Bruno Mars songs, bumped up even faster, which, is already top of my register. So I feel like when performing in Vegas, you get to do you. One, because you're doing your songs. You have your brand, your image, and your vibe. And plus, these are, a lot of times, there's going to be people that know you in the crowd. So it's like definitely more of a, I guess it feels like a family thing, if that makes sense.
Who do you think you are? Well, ha, 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 bless your soul. You really think you're in control? Oh, well, I think you're crazy. Well, I think you're crazy.
I feel like the Vegas music scene and culture is definitely still growing. It's still coming into its own. I feel like Vegas as a city is just generally coming into its own. And kind of finding that identity. I've only been here since 2017, and I've already seen it really start to snowball exponentially. And as far as like a certain sound, not necessarily, because I know so many artists from so many different genres and pockets. I know rap artists, I know pop artists, I know, R&B artists. It's just, I know electronic artists. There's no like one set sound, I think, coming out of Vegas. One thing I will say though that's kind of cool is since Vegas hasn't really, bubbled over or popped yet, the circles kind of all run together. Everybody kind of knows everybody else, and I feel like everybody wants to see everybody else win, because if one person really starts to get on, it's going to start to put the city on, and then it's just going to kind of help everybody else that's moving in the city. As far as what I look for with collaborations, it's usually just a good vibe and somebody who's down to make dope music. I actually just released a collab yesterday with 2 local Vegas artists, and it's outside of the stuff I usually do. It's like island poppy, but for me, the genre's not really important. I just feel like if the music's good and I like the music, and I feel like you know, it can move somebody or make somebody feel something, that's what I look for. I think as far as my own favorite song goes, it's gonna sound cheesy, but it's whatever I'm working on at the time. I get over songs really quickly, and I think that's why it's taken me so long to put any sort of music out, because it gets old to me, and then I just want to throw it away and start over. Because, you know, as an artist, you're always getting better, you're always improving your craft, and so by the time the process is done of making the beats and recording and writing and mixing and all that, I'll be like, oh, I'm further along than I was, and I'll just want to throw them away. So yeah, I feel like once I release a song, I'm just like, okay, next project kind of thing.
I said life is such a funny thing, girl. How can we be nothing, babe, when we were talking wedding rings? Oh, we were standing on the edge of something great until you tried to make it say.
I feel like as far as the top accolade or top goal that I want to see with me and my music is, people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, do you want to be famous and this, and this? And I say, absolutely, yes, but maybe not for the reason why you think. I don't want to be famous just for famous sake. I want to be famous just so my music has the reach. I want the ability to affect as many people as possible. I think one of the biggest reasons I do music, and I'll remember this story till the day I die, was back when I first started, actually before I joined the military, you know, I started messing with it. That's when I was like rapping and making beats. The music was just completely terrible. But, you know, I would send my little tracks to my friends sometimes, and I made this breakup like rap song I found this beat online. Somebody had sampled 3 Doors Down, Here Without You, and sped it up chipmunk style and had that on the hook, and then put like a hip hop beat behind it. And, you know, I made this whole breakup song because I went through a breakup or whatever. And I sent it to a few friends, and a friend hit me up, I would say like a month or two later, and he's like, hey, I just want you to know that I had your song on repeat last night with a bottle of Jack. And I was like, what? And he explained that he just went through something with a girl and he connected with that song. And it was that moment that I knew that I wanted to do music, and that's my thing. I want to be big just so I can connect with as many people as possible. I think the most beneficial piece of advice I could give to any artist, and I know every artist aims and dreams and aspirations and reasons for doing things are different, but I feel like if you really want to do music and you want to be successful at music for music's sake, you need to fall in love with music and the craft and the art and all that, because it will never get old to you. I mean, even if I'm engineering somebody else's music, it's still music, and I don't feel like I'm working because I love music. And if you're gonna do it, you can't like half-step it. I had a friend before I decided to get out the military. He was like, listen, bro, he's like, if you're gonna do it, you need to go all in. There is no, I mean, you can do it as a hobby. That's completely fine, and that's cool. But if you're trying to pursue it for your life, you need to fall in love with it and just be all about it. So you can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, all the majors under Zhou, Z-H-O-U. My latest project, Transitions, is up there, and I just dropped a single yesterday with some homies, Autumn Leaves. And you can also find me on IG, Kingdom of Zhou. My name is Zhou, and this is the Midnight Sessions.